What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ladies Who Bronche. I am Julissa.
What's good, everybody? This is Skittles.
And this week, we have a girl who we've been dying
Yes.
to get on here for quite some time.
Yes.
She is gorgeous, super talented, and honestly, like a freedom fighter.
And she's about to take us to the SYNEAD.
Yes, Sid.
Plug the song. Plug the
Sid,
song.
who the fuck are you?
What's up? It's your girl Siddles Tiddles. Nah, it's just Sid. They do call me Siddles.
Settle.
Yes, what's up, y'all? What's up? You know, I've been dying to get on here for ages.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's been hard getting it together, and it seems like the universe didn't want this to happen.
Right.
But we made it happen. Fuck out of here.
Yes.
Mercury's not in retrograde. Fuck out of here with that shit.
Nah, that's just in forward motion.
Yeah. So, Sid, tell us a little bit about what you do. What is your thing?
So okay, everyone calls me Sid, but my name's SYNEAD. You know, my parents blessed me with a nice first name and a middle name, SYNEAD Sydney. But what do? I make music, I create, I dance, I fight and try to deconstruct society.
Yeah.
Really.
Right, all those things.
Try to break down these organizations and things that are fucking holding us back. Oppressive oligarchies.
So I have to shout out the march that you did. So I definitely want to hear a little bit. How did that come about?
2014 Millions March NYC. That just came out of a lot of emotion. I went out to a protest, essentially a rally. We were waiting to hear about the verdict for Mike Brown. Mm-hmm. And the verdict came in. Officer didn't get indicted, and it was just, I remember that moment. It was right before Thanksgiving too. I remember feeling just like overwrought with anguish, because I just kept imagining like that could be my little brother. No, that could be me. And we went from there from Union Square all the way to 125th and First by Randall Island Bridge. Mm-hmm. And I just kept thinking like, what the hell can I do? And I just kept thinking like, what? And I didn't know like what else there was. And I got to like my ex-boyfriend's house because like my phone died, and I got on his laptop and I just got on Facebook, literally like made a flyer and Word document.
Nice.
And put it out there. And then Kat Lazo actually hit me up and she was like, yo, I think this is dope. Because I originally called it Million Man March, try to be synonymous with like MLK.
Right.
And she was like, yo, I think that's dope, but I think it might be even better if you take out man and just put Millions March to be more inclusive. And I didn't have any time to like fight or like argue about this because it's not about me right now. So I was like, okay. So I had to take everything down because I put it up on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr.
When you just post that shit.
So I had to take all that shit down, then put it back up. And I just kind of outreached to people. And I was like, hey, if anybody has any, familiarity with organizing, especially in these like kind of like social settings, like let me know, because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. And I woke up to like over 400 messages in my inbox. Like people just like, let's do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And then you guys had a fucking crazy turnout.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
2.5 weeks to make that shit pop off.
Wow.
Yeah.
But think about 2.5 weeks in comparison to how much trauma we face like every single week. So even like 2 weeks is no time.
Right.
And I wish that more folks felt that empowered, because imagine if there were even just, let's say 15 SIDs in the world, right? That were able to, like in different regions, like organize these type of things sort of like consecutively, back to back, where the momentum keeps going. So when people sort of feel it's similar to what you're saying, sometimes you're like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, I know I'm angry. I know this is wrong.
Right.
I vote, I pay my taxes. I do, what I mean? I'm an upstanding citizen, but what do I do about this? And sometimes you just got to ask. Literally, there is power in asking questions.
Right.
And sometimes we think questions like, well, how do I organize a march is a quote unquote stupid question. There are no stupid questions.
Right.
There's only good answers, you know what I mean, that can get you what you need to do. So I remember when that happened, I was so proud of you. And not even just as like, oh, that's my homegirl. Yeah, we went to high school together. It was more like, I am proud of this black woman, in our, who's our age. who's able to pull this off and mobilize people our age and from other generations, right? Because it wasn't a millennial million
right
march, you know what I mean? It was
Word.
it was really inclusive, and it was really cool to hear people who have no idea who you are, right, talking about the march and how who attended the march, right. And it just it
really started like going like wildfire.
Yeah.
I was at work because I was working as a dance teacher for an after school program. And I'm at work, and I was like, hey, like, we would love to, if you can come to my protest, tell my coworkers. And she's like, oh, Millions March? I was like, it's on Facebook, right? I'm like, yeah. I was like, oh, you saw it? She goes, yeah, I think you're at like 11K or like 12K now. And I was like, I say what? Wow. Because I didn't have a working phone or anything like that, so I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then she said, yeah, I think Taylor Swift tweeted it or Kanye tweeted it. Oh. And I was like, excuse me? So she literally had to pull her phone out because, again, I have no cell phone.
Wow, yeah.
And she pulled it out, and I was like, what the fuck? And I think that's when it kind of just...
Yeah. I mean, you get
Social
the right
media.
the right person to see it, the right person to retweet.
The right energy with it, too,
Yeah.
But again, social media, like, the only reason why I even thought to put that shit on Facebook or on these platforms was because of things like Arab Springs, or like, in Mexico, students coming together to mobilize using the internet, using Facebook to bring people out. It's like, if they could do that, well, maybe I could do that too.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just think back on the time, and I feel like even that year, like where we were in terms of like, I was fresh out of college, like people our age group were either fresh out of college or just finishing college.
Right.
And to see, we had seen celebrity come to people of our classmates, but like for it to be something that actually like meant something.
Yeah, it's more than just
which
your
was
art.
so much more important, Not to say that art isn't important, but it was just like something that was so much more than you.
Yeah.
And to see you be at the forefront of it is really cool.
Because, they taught me something really valuable during that time as well, which is what made a lot of things move. They had a phrase, low ego, high impact. And it's just like, I just use that in my life, like every day, just as a human being. Because this literally, and you can be all existential about it, whatever. It's like, what am I here for? Like, what is this life? What does it mean? And it all literally means nothing.
Yeah.
But there is something there that we all like hold together, and it's like we have to really nourish that. And I don't know how or in what way or what that thing is that like we all really connect to that makes us believe that and makes us say, well, you know what? There is something more than that nothing,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that in like today, like fast forward to today, the fact that we did something that effective and we're still in the place that feels worse. I mean, granted, Trump wasn't president. But I like that energy. It's not that it's died down, it's taken a different shape.
Yes.
It's taken a
absolutely.
very different shape. And I think even myself, like as someone who considers themselves an advocate, I'm like, all right, Julissa, so how are we most effectively going to inject ourselves now? Like things are moving, like marches can happen, but we see, and I don't want to say like marches aren't effective because they are.
But I totally feel you.
But it's more like, okay, I see what's happening. We're being silenced in so many ways that the way we need to change things is no longer by just like speaking out. We have to like actually like
be active.
Policy, and it's like it's taken
reform.
Yeah. It's taken such a like form that it's unfortunate actually. I wish all it took. I wish that march happened and we would, you know what I mean, like, and everything could be better. But yeah, again, congrats on that.
Thank you.
And it's important that we have our freedom fighters. But tell me about your music. So so what kind of music you make? Like what you do? How you sing? Like
and she wasn't even a singer like before.
She was a dancer. When I met her, we should should say
So at LaGuardia, Sid was a dance major, but she was a dance major who sang, and I can say this with confidence because as freshmen, me and Sid would sit in the lunch lunchroom and just belt out these Christina
Aguilera
tunes
all day.
Like,
all day.
We would be on that Dirty album. Those first 4 tracks, me and Sid would be
stripped.
just like, and you know, we used to sit at a big ass table with mad people,
right?
And me and Sid just sitting in a corner with headphones on.
You know, I have those pictures too.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Those pictures are online and
sure
they're
are.
beautiful. They're hilarious.
But then, so what made you say, well, not fuck dance, because it doesn't mean, I don't know if you're still dancing or not, but like, what made you say, nah, music?
Well, I was always singing before I got to LaGuardia too, because I auditioned for dance and for vocal, and I got it for both. And I chose dance, and I think I chose it because my mom wanted me to do vocal. Oh. So I was like, sorry, Mom, I'm gonna dance instead.
Yeah.
But I think at that time too, I was just very much like, dance was the kind of the first thing I really did fall in love with. But I've always been singing. My mom used to like train me with like Michael Jackson songs, and then choirs and like chorus in school. And I had one opportunity to sing one time. They wanted me to sing Mariah Carey's part for When You Believe, and I was like 9.
Yes.
Bitch, I could not. I was shook. I was so nervous. And I think that's ultimately why I chose dance too, because there was just something about dancing that really opened me up and allowed me to get back into singing and be that kind of like open, interactive person. Because I just had I had the accessibility in my voice to sing, yeah, for sure, whatever. You know, do like training, sight singing, blah, blah, blah. But I was like disconnected. Like I wasn't really in touch with it. But the dancing really helped me access my body, which allowed me to access my voice in a more comfortable way.
That's incredible.
So now we fast forward to today, and you have singles like Tropical, and you have SYNEAD.
Yes.
So talk about that.
So that was a transition of always recording, like I said, always recording, always writing. My mom.
Yeah, I remember like back when like
Sid Ninja.
Oh my God,
Sid
Ninja.
Ninja.
You had Sid Ninja, and you had like In My Bedroom like records.
That's right.
And you, like I remember you like it was like when like Reverb Nation
was still out. Reverb Nation
was still out.
I was even putting music on
Sound
MySpace
Camp and stuff
shit.
like that.
Oh yes. Oh Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
That's right. I was just writing. You know, it was my mom. I guess realized that I had talent. So my parents never slept on that. Not at any time ever. They saw that I had something, so they invested in it. So my mom bought me hella music equipment, all shit that I do not even have anymore, which fucking sucks.
Wow.
Right, it's really terrible. But you know, desktop, mic, monitors, MIDIs, Logic Pro, Ableton, Pro Tools.
Yeah.
You had even done a song with Michael Zonga at one point.
Yeah, that's
bringing
my
it
shit.
all the way back.
Michael Zonga, we love you.
I'm like going back into
Skittles
the
is
files
like
now.
Facebook timelines this year ago today.
That's right, shit. Come on. Yeah, it's just, you know, opportunities, and I always just like to create. So after high school, so I never got to dance in the graduation concert. And I
thought that was the case. I remember seeing you.
Yeah, and I never danced in the graduation concert. So I think, to be honest, that's when my kind of like disconnect from dancing started happening. And that's when I really started funneling back into the music, because I was like, fuck this, yo, like all this work for what? I kind of felt petty.
Easy.
It's not, yo.
That was one of the most difficult majors, I think.
Oh yeah.
When I was going through, like, you know, just looking at everybody and body types and your expectations for yourself and stuff, it was very stressful. Yeah. But I even still, I think just the group of people we had were pretty solid. Like, solid group. Like, you know, we really did care about each other.
And the talent was sickening.
Right.
Like, that year.
Yeah.
So, you know, just kept it moving, kept it going, continued writing, recording, and started working with some guys in Jersey. Started working at a radio show with them, actually, out at Rutgers. So I started, I would be at their house for hours, like waiting to go to the show. And one of them found me. Wow, that's crazy. One of them found me on MySpace through my music, bro. And actually came, and I was like, he wanted to link up. And I was like, yo, like, I'm down, but I'm 16. You're like either 18 or 19. And if you want to link up to like work, you got to meet my mom.
Yeah.
Like, I literally told him flat out, because I don't know, you might be a fucking creep.
Good for you.
And I just told him straight out, and he was like, okay.
Yes.
So he actually, I don't know if you guys remember those I'm Not a Plastic Bag canvas totes.
Yes.
He waited online that day to get one from my mom because they were free. Waited online and brought one for her.
Wow.
When he met her that day, just to be like, I'm not a creep. Like, your daughter's pretty cool.
Nice.
And so this is one of like my really good friends now, and that's how I kind of got involved into like I said, the Rutgers scene, hip hop scene, interviewing and doing like social media and stuff like that. Like co-hosting, and I got to make music with them all the time. And then I'm meeting all these other people, and it's just literally just a big web of interactions. Like not 6 degrees of separation, but like 1 degree.
Yeah.
At this point, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And so now you're just out here, you're making this music. What do we have coming up next for you?
So I have all this music I dropped. I only got three singles on Spotify. But more coming out. I recently did another video in the spring.
Okay.
And it's not as, I feel like all the stuff that like we were hearing or are hearing currently, it's really like lighthearted, and it's like happiness, and it's like striving, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a kind of ascending in a way. Whereas all this stuff is the new stuff. It's like less of that, and it's a little more. It's gritty. It's jarring. I could just turn up a bit. I didn't turn up a bit. I'm turning it up.
Yes.
Yeah. Just even the way I'm using my voice. It's just a gritty version of my life. We were like kind of getting into that space. So vulnerability, really, just like real shit. Because you can be happy too and be bright and like bright-eyed, whatever, but shit also sucks and shit gets real. So we're kind of moving into that space, and yeah. And then, I'm working with Matt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Matt FX.
And we all went to high school together too.
Yes,
So
another LaGuardian that's killing the game.
Matt FX. Yo, Matt's come up has been real.
right.
Shout out to him. I'm proud of him too.
Matt FXy.
Yeah.
So, Sid, we're going to go on to our questions where I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite brunch plate?
My favorite brunch plate. I'm really basic though, because I get the same shit all the time. But chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles.
I
2 weeks in
fuck
a
with
row.
Chicken and waffles. Oh, yeah, that's true,
2 weeks in a row.
Vanessa.
Yeah. Last week's.
All right, so then.
And if it's not waffles,
take
it's
it-
pancakes.
Whoa,
Okay.
same answer.
Literally, like-
wait, did you copy her answers? You listened to that episode? So yeah, last week we had Vanessa, who's my older sister, on
Yes,
the
Vanessa.
podcast, and that was those were literally her two
Yes,
answers.
those are two answers.
You already
In
know
that
more.
order.
So now I want to know, where in New York are you getting the best chicken and waffles?
Yeah.
Ooh. Damn, I'm gonna have to say it. Sweet Chick.
Yeah.
Because that's the only place I've ever gone for chicken and waffles in New York City.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah.
Because if not that, it's someone is making them.
Yeah.
You know what? I would have said this other place, but they owe me bread right now.
So then don't say
nah,
it.
So
Don't
I'm
even
not.
say
So I'm
they
saying,
made
so
it.
I'm not, because
Don't
I was
even
about.
say
Yeah.
I have to kind of pull up in that shit.
Yeah.
And wreck some shit right now.
Give me my money and some chicken and waffles.
Right.
To
And some
go,
chicken and
bitch.
They're trying to tell me
waffles.
to give me credit. I don't want your fucking credit. Nope.
Nah, we don't do credit.
I want my
here.
money back,
Coins,
and
yeah.
and you need to give me a fucking chicken and waffle to go. Okay.
All right. So then with this chicken and waffles, what are we sipping on?
Bourbon champagne.
Ooh, tell me more.
Tell me more.
Interesting.
Tell me more. Yeah, I went to this place called Five and Diamond on Frederick Douglass on 8th. I don't think it's there anymore. But they would make this like bourbon champagne drink.
Wow.
And it was just fire. Like, I don't know. I don't even know the content besides the bourbon and the champagne. There's something else in there. Some other like sweet tea, lemonade kind of drink.
Okay.
But
I can see
it's-
that.
Well, let me tell you.
I can fuck with that, I think.
Ooh, one of these.
Knock you out.
Nice.
Yo.
I'm like, bourbon
Yeah.
and champagne?
Hello.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
like, that's a lot.
It is a lot, but it's good. It's flavorsome.
Awesome. So, what was it like going out to eat when you were a kid?
Did we really go out to eat now?
Real answer.
Yeah, we would go out. We go out, but it'd always be kind of fun, festive. My family is just hilarious, and sometimes we go in like big groups. Usually, it's usually I think it's more than like 5 of us would be out going to eat together. So there's always some bacchanal, which is like confusion in like Trini Patois.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. This is fun. You go like Sizzler.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what places did you go?
Sizzler, IHOP. I love IHOP. Like, you will never not have me love IHOP.
Yeah.
Really?
Y'all will look at my
How'd you feel about IHOP? How'd you feel when they tried to become the international house of
IHOP.
burgers?
They gotta stop.
Nah.
I need you to stick to them motherfucking pancakes.
Right. I was like, why y'all trying to do burgers? That's such a drastic switch.
Let me tell you, I had some funfetti pancakes recently.
Ooh.
Bitch.
Wait, at IHOP?
At IHOP.
Since when they make funfetti?
That's what I'm saying. You gotta get in it.
Yo, all right.
Yo, just make me a brand ambassador. IHOP is good.
Now, I went to this place in Puerto Rico, completely unrelated, but it is pancakes. When I was in Puerto Rico last weekend, and it tasted like the pancakes had coconut in it.
Why did I thought you were not gonna say coconut?
It wasn't coconut. It was the girl was just like, they make pancakes, but they make the batter as if they're making birthday cake.
Oh my God.
Y'all
That's
go
delicious.
to Puerto Rico.
Puerto
go to
Rico.
fucking
What town in Puerto Rico?
Luquillo. It's called La SYNEAD.
Lasagna.
It's right on the beach.
Ooh.
And they have a brunch menu. They have a brunch menu.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Like actual brunch. It's beautiful.
Okay.
We should go.
Can we
Can we
get
just
that
take a
ticket real
Cause
quick?
my-
Let's just go.
My
Ladies who
uncle's
brunch,
apartment.
Puerto Rico.
Right.
My
let's just
uncle's
be out.
apartment is like 3 blocks down from it.
Okay.
So it's lit. And they made this farina.
Oh, I love
And
farina.
like I don't fuck with farina.
I
love
farina.
farina.
You have to be a very specific type of farina for me to eat it.
Yeah.
And they made this coconut farina.
Yes, baby.
That was perfect. That sounds delicious. All right, we out to Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
We out.
Shout out to Puerto Rico,
Vamos.
Amazing. So, what's your favorite topic to bochinche about when you're eating?
Yeah, it's so ratchet. And it's like, okay, if I'm out eating, this is like not my family, right? Okay.
Wherever.
It's like, wherever. And be explicit.
Yeah.
Be explicit.
Girl,
Bitch, we
let
talk
me tell
about
you
dick.
something.
I like to talk about yeah, honestly. I like
This
to
is
talk about
brunch. Take a sip if you need to.
Right.
Here we go.
That strong ass drink I just made, huh?
Yeah. There it is.
Okay, so what's your favorite bochinche topic?
My favorite bochinche topic is to talk about dick.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because like
That's our favorite.
That's our
topic.
favorite.
okay, great. Because, you know, honestly, it's like, you know, guys get to talk about all the bitches they be talking to or whatever. And I'm like, you think we don't do that either? Like,
Right.
don't ever
Seriously.
send me a dick pic. Because if you send me a dick pic,
You know all my friends are
All
gonna
my
see
girls
it.
are gonna see that
You know
shit.
all my girls are gonna see it.
I
Actually,
just don't.
yo, the other day I saw one where he had like the reddest tip.
ooh.
I don't know. I thought it was like
Like, with
charming. Like it was just like this beautiful black dick with a red
With a
tip.
red
And I was just like,
Interesting.
okay.
That is interesting.
I'm shaking right now.
Honestly, like, though, it's like you can talk about it in so many ways. You can talk
Yeah.
about it, like, you know, in terms of how you like to do it,
Right.
do what you like to do to it, receive from it, like
Yeah.
all angles. I love dick.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just a
PSA
gift. It's
announcement.
an actual gift. You know? PSA. Can we come up with a dick theme? Thanks.
No,
Theme song.
seriously.
That's awesome. So now we're going to move into our cheers to the ladies where we shout out people who are doing really, really dope shit. I just want to give a shout out to everyone who went out to vote. Because, you know, even though your candidate may or may have not won, your showing up really makes a difference, especially when they make predictions about like, oh, only this % of this population is going to go, or only X amount of like Latinos, black
Right,
people.
you don't
blah,
know
blah, blah.
me.
Yeah, you don't know me, and I showed up. So like whether or not your person won, and Cynthia Nixon did lose for those who might have been just curious about that, you know, and I kind of saw it coming, to be honest. It's not to say that she didn't fight a good fight or anything like
She
that.
did. She
It's
really
just
did.
you're also in New York where motherfuckers are like, nah, that whole section of the shitty shit, they're like, nah, she's an actress, she's an actress. Like, people would not let her be a politician. People would just, I mean, even I would make the joke,
They were harping
right?
on the Sex and the City.
Yeah.
Or the idea of another actor in office when we already have this fucking dipshit who's the president. Like,
I mean, wasn't Reagan an actor?
Reagan was an actor. And then we had Schwarzenegger. And now, actually, Oscar de la Hoya is saying that he's going to run. Because he's like, listen, I'm a citizen. I've been here for X amount of years, blah, blah, blah. Like, and if Ronald Reagan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Trump could be president, I don't see why I can't do something to fight for his own people. Because right now, the United States is fucking Mexican people up the ass. I mean, who isn't Trump fucking up the ass? Okay. I mean, frankly, but you know what I mean? But still.
Or are they doing that to him?
Yeah. He might like it. You never know.
Listen.
Anyway,
the next cheers to the ladies who goes to Insecure.
Yes, I just started watching it.
Listen, this season has been killing.
I just saw the last episode.
Game. And this last week's
Mm-hmm.
Coachella episode, let me tell you, for every memorable moment in that episode, I have about 3 identical stories to go with it.
Yes.
Most of which involve either a Julissa Contreras or a Hadiza Jabril or Wafia Ali.
Yes.
But like, when I was just sitting there like, yo, me and my friends do this shit all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, this whole shit about being in the 20s, you know, getting tickets to either a festival or a concert that you all really want to see, or even fucking your best friends are getting married. You know, you get an Airbnb and then you fucking like rent a yacht and get drunk and eat chicken. You know, like all of this shit that happened in that Coachella episode was hilarious, and it's just wonderful to have a show that you could see yourself in.
Narratives, they're important. You know,
you can. It's a nice just like getaway from real life. Yeah. Even though it is your life on TV.
Right.
It's really cool.
It's cool. I agree.
Yeah. Issa Rae, and also they got renewed for their season.
Last mother.
So
awesome.
Or 4th season. Fourth season.
Fourth
one. Yeah.
Cuatro.
Let's go.
That's dope. Another shout out to Katia McMullen, who has a show out. So Katia is the writer of Locked Up Bitches, which was the show that Skittles and I were in. She has a show out right now called Agnes. It's at the 57th Street Theater, and it's a New York Times Critics Pick.
Yeah,
fuck out of here,
Katia, who also recently moved to LA and is working on a TV show that I can't remember the name of. But she's writing for a TV show too.
Yeah,
that work, bitch.
So, she's getting that work. I'm so proud of. Let me tell you. So Katia is part of my theater company, the Middle Voice Theater Company, and she's always been just like, outside of being crazy talented, she is such a ride or die bitch. Like, she is a down ass bitch. Anytime you need her to support, to sit in a room with you and get that right, she was always there. So I'm so happy to see her out here doing her own thing now. She's no longer like just supporting her friends. She's out here being too busy to support her friends with certain things like that, because she's killing it.
Right.
I'm so proud of her. Like, shout outs to you. And then we had another friend to shout out this week.
Yes, Danica Dorla.
So Danica was featured. So New York Presbyterian has this blog, and she was featured on a story because of how passionate she is with her patients. So Danica has taken her own childhood bronchitis battle and like has let it inspired her, and the way that she works with her patients. And she grew up in Bushwick before Bushwick was this like
before it was a place to be,
before Bushwick was bougie,
right.
And she would talk a lot about how like when she would have bad coughs and her belly would feel hot and just like symptoms that she would have, and growing up in that context and understanding as a Black woman now in the medical space, like what that means. And there's a really wonderful quote that she says where she says, "I learned so much from my patients. If someone is fighting for their life, they have a new perspective on what life really is, and they help me appreciate mine even more." Yeah. So beautiful words, girl.
Danica.
Keep coming in, Danica. I'm proud of you, girl. And then another shout out. So there's a policeman in Uganda who has organized a bunch of men to literally walk a mile in women's shoes. Yes. So in 2017, there was, vicious killings of 20 women in Uganda. And violence against women is a huge issue in that community. And so he literally gets guys together. They'll put baskets on their heads. They'll like strap like babies on their back. And they will walk a mile in women's shoes.
Fuck it up.
And so it's simple, but sort of like what we were saying with the march, like it's really awesome to mobilize a group of people,
right?
Get them inspired to just call out the issue,
right?
So I thought that was really dope.
And again, for me, I just really like this because, as I was like mentioning, being empathetic, this forces people to not feel sorry about a situation, be active about something, and actually do something.
Yeah.
Because too many people every day feel sorry, and that just doesn't incite in action. It just leaves you feeling sorry.
Yeah.
Whereas empathy puts you in a place of, hey, I can see myself where you are too. So
absolutely. All right, so now we're gonna move into our Tuta Loca es, where we call motherfuckers out who are doing the most.
Tuta Loca.
Trump felt it was cute to say that 3,000 people didn't die in Puerto Rico, because when I was there, the count was at 60 something. Fake news. So this man, I mean, he's literally from throwing the tissue paper across the room to the way he behaved with the politicians in Puerto Rico when he visited, just and like the lack of support that the United States has shown to Puerto Rico. We're coming when this episode is released, I believe the 20th.
It's gonna be the year.
Yeah. On the 20th is the anniversary of the year, and there are people who are still dying, and like
still.
Death tolls, like, and 9/11 was just this week, so like people were talking about that a lot, and it made me realize there was an article that said more people have now died from being sick after 9/11 than people who actually died on 9/11, and that's part of the death toll, because the root of the cause was the attack. Here, the root of the cause was the hurricane. So as the toll keeps going up, yes, that is an effect of the hurricane. I don't know what fucking ass he has his head stuck up.
Maybe does he even have one?
Maybe
a head to stick up an ass? Like
maybe his own. Like I don't need to say much. It's just fucking disrespectful.
I just don't even know what to say about this guy anymore. To be honest, like, I forget sometimes that he is the president.
Yeah.
I literally forget.
that breath was Skittles about to say something. He couldn't even find the words.
Because even seeing a picture of the man, just like my blood boils.
Yeah.
And I have such violent thoughts when I see him. Like, even not even talking about the 3,000, but close to the day that he said some shit like that. There was a picture of him going to a 9/11 memorial, like
where his like
fist pumping. Yep.
Come on.
And sometimes, to be honest, I just feel bad for Melania, because look at her in the back, in the cut.
That woman is in Get Out, and
I'm like, get out of there.
She's tight.
You are sunk.
She didn't sign up for this.
But Skittles, how was the island since you were there?
Well, being there, first off, not 100% of electricity is back, even though they've been reporting that. A lot of the traffic lights and highways are still like pitch black.
Wow.
But the people are thriving, and slowly but surely life is, coming back and stuff like that. The town that I was staying in was pretty barren, and according to my mother, usually it's like really lively and busy. Wow. So you do see the effects, and in driving through the forest, you can see like some of the trees that have been stripped of life from the hurricanes. But I think people's general attitude is mainly positive. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about Puerto Rico, is that the people maintain a positive attitude. One thing that my mother pointed out was, no matter who passes by you, if you're eating, they say buen provecho.
Oh,
which is like,
buen provecho, yeah.
So like, it's one of those things that it's like, everyone's positive, and
community.
They're just preparing for the next one if it does come.
Right.
I don't know, you
can't really keep people down who aren't a down people.
Yeah.
That makes sense,
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just the general consensus with Black and brown people.
Yeah. So like, of course, the bigger cities like San Juan and the tourist attractions are up and running, but like, you know, it's not 100%, but people are thriving, and I think that's the most important thing.
Trying to find the space to really keep it moving and keep moving forward.
Yeah. All right. So next Tuta Loca is so they found some weed in a nigga's apartment, and suddenly it's justified that they opened the door and killed him in his own home.
I don't understand.
By the way,
why is this relevant?
Right.
The bitch is wrong. She walked into the wrong apartment.
But now, claims are like it wasn't, but and then somebody said it wasn't by accident, and then people who like live in the complex were like started posting videos saying there's no way that she could have put the wrong key in and gotten in because it turns red. It's almost like a hotel key, so like it turns red, and so even if she was in the wrong apartment, it just wouldn't have opened. And there were reports of people like saying that she was banging in the door saying "Let me in, let me in." So that's sort of what's been happening, and then she sort of changed the claim and said the door was like ajar or like kind of open. It's really fucking weird. And then there were rumors that they used to date. Like there's just like a bunch of cross stories.
There's some tea.
But the lack of information that the police department is like sort of releasing makes it difficult to understand what's fake and what's true. So then the inventory of things that they found with the search warrant. So they found 2 fired cartridge casings, which were from her gun, obviously, 1 laptop computer, 1 black backpack with police equipment and paperwork, 1 insulated lunchbox, a black ballistic belt with police markings, 10.4 grams of marijuana, in Ziploc bags. Now, mind you, eighth is 3.5. So when you think about it, that's not even like a crazy amount of weed. It's just like weed.
Right.
1 metal marijuana grinder, 1 RFID key, 2 FRID keys, which I'm assuming are the keys for the apartment complex, and 2 used packages of medical aid. And they don't indicate where in the crime scene those items were found or who they belong to. Sounds like a lot of police shit.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It sounds like a lot of her own shit. And so his family, actually, when that document was released, they weren't even aware. So they went and they sort of shouted that out, and then the family were sort of like, whoa, like, what are you trying to do to his image right now? Like, what does that have to do with anything, like we said? And it's so unfortunate that the police department is trying to make the killing legitimate by trying to say, oh, but he smoked weed. So what?
A lot of people smoke weed.
Yeah, everybody. Listen,
Everybody smokes weed.
Public service announcement.
Right.
Everybody smokes weed. And people who don't smoke weed either have tried it or don't smoke it because they don't actually understand weed.
Right.
That is the only thing. You know, or because they can't. Because medically, like literally they're like, oh, I actually can't, or it makes me paranoid. But like everybody smokes. Ain't nothing wrong with weed.
Let it go.
Like for real. Anyway, I'm interested to see how the story continues to develop. We need justice. We need justice for him. This is completely unacceptable. Anyway.
We need an overhaul of these motherfuckers.
So our next Tuta Loca goes to this fucking Bronx teacher who performed oral sex on a 14-year-old.
Right?
And
Jesus.
Not only is she not getting jail time, she's only getting probation, and she gets to keep her teaching license.
She's white?
She's white.
Okay.
Yes. Very.
Problem solved.
She's very white.
There's the crux.
I wonder how the kid is doing.
Like,
I wonder if they feel trauma or what's going on. I mean, it's abuse. Like, anyone you try to spin it, because she's clearly older than that child.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, you know, of course a 14-year-old might say, excuse me, I shouldn't say of course, but a 14-year-old could be like, yeah, I want my dick sucked.
Right.
You know, especially like in the Bronx. We grew up
Especially
in the Bronx.
Right.
By 8th grade, I knew girls who were pregnant, having abortions.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
sex is not like, you know, super foreign.
But as an adult,
Yeah. It's abuse.
there is something wrong with you if you are.
Why you want to suck a
performing
14-year-old dick?
And then
a
also, why does
14-year-old
she keep her job?
Also, here's my shit. Like, cause like kids are nasty. Like, and not only are kids nasty, but like at that ripe age of 13, 14, they're going through so much bodily shit. They stink. You know, they like. I like. What in your right mind?
Pedophile.
Like,
Right,
was this,
but
Pedophile.
she's a pedophile.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
just crazy.
That's just pretty much what it is.
This is as much as I have to say about that.
Yeah.
So also this week, Brett is accused of sexual misconduct. So he's really coming for this seat. And I'm so glad that all this stuff is coming up. So last week it was Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, like sort of like putting him up against the wall and like holding him to his own words, quite frankly. And now we have this, sexual misconduct allegations. I believe it. He looked like the type. I don't give a fuck. And as just as I am, I don't even give a fuck if it's a lie as long as it gets him away from that seat.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. So that's happening. More to come on that.
Right.
Serena Williams.
Bro. This debate has actually like made me even look at people who I love and respect different.
I know who you're talking about.
Like I literally the idea that the conversation can't be both. This is an issue. Women are painted a certain way in sports, Black women in the world in general. Why are we so committed to caring about the rules of sports?
Now let's go back a little bit and describe what happened, because for me, I've only seen the video.
Yeah.
Long story short, there were two penalties that were called. One of them, the first two were totally called for. One was for let me retract. She broke her racket, which was one of the things that she did that was wrong. That was absolutely warranted. You're not allowed to do that. $3,000 fine, like totally warranted. Okay. Fine. So the other one was that she got sort of flagged for being coached on the sidelines, which is not allowed. And she was like, I wasn't being coached. He was giving me a hand signal. I forgot what she says it means, but she's like, but that wasn't coaching. And she was saying the first time she went to the ref, she was being super like, not super calm, but she wasn't being aggressive towards him. She was just saying, listen, like you could tell she was tight, but she was like, look, I can understand why you thought that was coaching from the sideline, but it's not coaching. It's not coaching. So she keeps playing. I believe at that moment she thought that he understood and was not actually going to give her the penalty for that.
Okay.
Right? So then whatever, shit happens. She gets mad. She breaks her racket. That's another, penalty.
Right.
She has one more. And, before, things get too crazy. But there's levels to the penalties, right? So it can be a warning. It doesn't have to be, a total, fuck out of here, game over. Right. So she had gone back, I think, 2 to 3 times because when she realized that call was still made, she was like, no, you're accusing me of cheating. You're calling me a cheater. I'm telling you I'm not a cheater. I have a daughter and I stand for what's right. Mm-hmm. I'm not a cheater. You owe me an apology. And she's Serena fucking Williams. Yeah. You owe her an apology. She was not, and not
that's
to
the
mention,
last one. That's the last person who's gonna cheat.
Exactly, and not to mention that the other coach, or when her coach said that he was like, I was coaching. So he admitted it, and everybody was like, oh, even her coach said it. Case closed. He admitted he was coaching. But what he admitted was, this is what we do at every game. Right. Why are we being called out right now? And the other coach also was coaching, is what he said. He was like, I was coaching, the other coach is coaching. Coaches coach during the game, but it's not direct coaching. It's just more reminders, Exactly. So then everyone was like, oh, but that's totally, so even though that penalty is more for the coach than it is for her, it still counts against her during the game. So then she starts getting mad. She goes back and forth a bunch of times. She calls him a thief because she's saying that he's stealing the game from her. She keeps going. And she stops. And then comes back, and she stops, and she comes back, and even in her aggression, she wasn't being wild. She wasn't cursing.
Yeah, I know. She just really was adamant about the fact that, we've seen Serena Williams from such a young age, and her work ethic, I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. So to really, I felt insulted. Yeah. By this man calling this woman who we've watched work every bone in her body. Yeah. For what she has. Yeah. You owe her a fucking apology. Yeah. And I would stand on a motherfucking soapbox and scream this shit in the middle of the block. Yeah. And a lot of people are just like, yo, the bottom line, it's not everything is about race. He's coached many.
Actually. everything is about race, and everything is about gender, and everything is about all these things, because if nothing was about them, then we wouldn't have oppression.
Okay, thank you.
And I saw a video that they had like made a collage of all these white men breaking rackets and cursing at umpires, and also saying the same thing that she said. Because the video that I saw where she was like, she was being a bad bitch, and she was like, "You will never sit on one of my courts in your lifetime."
I was like, "You better let it be known."
Yeah.
And but other people have said that, and they weren't penalized. So, and
something that people were saying, those who are like, "Oh, it was fair," are like, "Oh." But the other times those people weren't penalized, they also didn't have 2 strikes against them before that happened.
I'm like, shut
so
up.
What?
It's fucking Serena.
So what? So what? And it's a fucking, like, it's for the championship. This isn't like a semifinals. Exactly. It's not like, or it's not just a regular ass game. Mm-hmm. Everybody's out here, and then people are like, "Oh, she's just mad that there's younger, hotter talent than her." No, she's not.
And she's still, she was still
even
ass.
even at the awards was trying to make the moment about the other girl.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Osaka.
Because she won.
Yeah.
And that's a fucking beautiful thing too.
And there were screenshots about, well, this is kind of like a side story, but screenshots of Osaka's Wikipedia. Mm-hmm. And before she won, it said she's a Haitian.
Oh, yeah, and they removed the Haitian.
They removed the Haitian when she won.
Even I don't know if you guys saw the political cartoon where they basically painted Serena as like this hulking,
she looked white in the
back.
Oh, yeah, like a blonde girl.
She looked like a blonde girl.
I thought it was a white blonde girl.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was supposed to be her.
It's supposed to be her.
And it's like Naomi, and Naomi's constantly saying, I'm Haitian.
All
I
the
grew up in a
time.
Haitian household.
Just in case you didn't know, I'm also Haitian.
Yeah, like, why she gotta keep mentioning that? She's clearly not just Japanese. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To the very least, you're gonna confuse her for maybe Filipino. Maybe.
Yeah, if and that's a maybe.
Mm-hmm. And that's a maybe. You know what I mean? Just it's the whole thing has been disgusting, and people keep saying that Serena ruined it for both of them. No,
you did.
Yeah, media ruined it for both of them, not themselves. And she had to pay a $17,000 fine,
dude,
after the game, which is terrible. And this debate can go on and on. There's
what
so
a
many
bad taste that must be left
in her mouth.
Speaking of pitting women against each other.
All right, let's talk about it. All right, Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. Now, this actually happened the night that we were recording the last episode. So if you think that we a week late, we not a week late. It just happened. Okay? So Nicki Minaj and Cardi B were both in attendance at the Harper's Bazaar New York Fashion Week party, looking gorgeous, both of them.
Yes.
And of course, there was a giant ruckus that happened where, a media frenzy happened when Cardi B not allegedly, there's footage. Cardi B approached Nicki Minaj.
She sure did.
And Nicki Minaj, apparently the cause of it was Nicki Minaj allegedly liking comments that said Cardi B was a bad mother. And so in the video, you see Cardi B, she walks up, and all of a sudden there's like this rush. The security guards all rush in. Mm-hmm. Cardi B got hit on the head by a security guard. That's why she has the knot. It wasn't Nicki Minaj who hit her.
I was like, did she get her?
It was not. Nicki Minaj did not connect that night. It was a bodyguard. And the thing about Cardi is that she's appealing to a different audience. Mm-hmm. So Nicki's that rich girl. I think of like the Mean Girls complex. Like
I agree
right now, Nicki's Regina George and Cardi B's Katie Heron. You know, and everybody loves Lindsay McGuire.
Sure
not Lindsay McGuire, Lindsay Lohan. You know.
Yeah.
So my thoughts. I would be tight too if I were Nicki Minaj, because after 10 years,
right,
some new girl coming up being number one, now she's the best, I would be tight too.
Yeah.
But no matter what you want to say, they're kind of fucking it up for us. You know, hip hop artists being invited to New York Fashion Week, like a girl from the Bronx,
right,
in New York Fashion Week, and nothing but, I think it was Dolce & Gabbana,
right,
like dripping in Dolce & Gabbana.
Literally coming down the stairs, looking like.
There has to be another way around throwing your shoe across the room.
Yeah.
Especially over liking a comment. But
then you have to keep in mind.
More than a comment. It's not just the comment.
So then there's more than that. But I think that at the end of the day, it shouldn't have happened like that. I think Cardi could come harder in her music, and she's beating her in numbers wise anyway.
Right.
I also think that she could be doing more to not. Why are you even being petty and liking comments in the first place?
Right. Like,
why are you Nicki Minaj? If you don't have the time to engage her when she's in your face, why you got the time to do it online?
Nicki is a whole nother story. Yeah. Nicki, I feel like...
Is she a Sag?
She is a Sag. She is a Sag.
All right.
I wish that Nicki, I don't know, maybe would have wait until she was in her off season. And then you never have Britney releasing an album the same year as Lady Gaga or Christina Aguilera or Beyonce. But you never have Beyonce releasing an album the same time as any of her competitors. The way pop girls do it, they're smart about their timing, right?
I also think too, sometimes, I mean, you have to think about it. They're not the ones picking the dates essentially for their shit.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. Who
the fuck is behind the team? Cardi and Nicki, and you go putting out the same shit on the same day? Why the fuck would y'all do that? Knowing how Nicki fucking is. Mm-hmm. Like you said, do not poke the bear. And now that this girl has got is now the best hip hop artist, Cardi, it's like, literally, I feel you, and I feel you when you say that she feels slighted, because I've been doing this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where's my credit? Where's my due? Yeah. And why do I have to keep doing this?
That's why I feel for Nicki. Because Nicki has been here for years, and it feels like Cardi's being handed everything.
But also on the first humility, baby. Humility. Yeah. Be humble. Because that shit will get you even better places.
Low ego, high impact.
Low ego, high impact. Not enough people engage with that sentiment.
And so I think that the aftermath, Cardi B is handling it wonderfully, where she's just like not addressing it.
Right.
You know what happened?
I'm not talking about it.
There was one post that she posted today where she posted a little girl dressed as her at the New York Fashion Week party. Cute. And she like in the caption said, "Oh, they forgot the knot."
That's funny.
So she can laugh at herself. Right. That's refreshing.
Now I was waiting to see if you were going to bring this up, but Nicki has like a podcast or a radio.
I was going to bring that shit up because let me tell you something.
Queen Radio.
As much as I don't want to listen to this shit,
I haven't listened to it.
That shit is fucking funny, bro.
It is.
She's hilarious, but also like, I can see why some people are turned off by it, because she's screaming.
Well, first off, it's the biggest power move. Like,
and that's what I'm saying.
That was the biggest power move. She was like, "All right, I'm coming out with an album, and I'm gonna make a radio show."
And to be honest, the first episode was actually really encouraging because she brought out all these artists, all these. Kelly Rowland was on there. Mm-hmm. Just like hella people pulled through. 7th Streeter, and it was just so like, oh wow, like she does give a fuck. You know, she cares about her art and the people who's around her, because she fucks with people, but at the same time,
she fucks with people who aren't gonna fuck with her lane,
right?
Which is a very specific,
and that was my only thing, because there weren't any rappers. It was just right.
There's a very select group of female rappers that she fucks with, you know, and I don't know why. I think I have my theories of her being greedy and her only wanting the seat for herself. Mm-hmm. But why?
I don't know.
But you know what I because I didn't listen to the full episode, but I read an article on it.
I didn't listen to it either.
She said Cardi is not black.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard. That she said that Cardi wasn't black because Cardi had mentioned, like, you know, she was like, you know, like she's not black.
She refers to black girls being roaches.
As being roaches on Love and Hip Hop. Allegedly, I don't watch Love and Hip Hop, so I don't know the episode.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, and just sort of like the way, like some of the quotes that I was reading from it, and you listen to it, Sid, so you can speak more to it.
Right.
But I just have a problem with, like, yes, Cardi was wrong. And this is where my conflict actually comes from this. My conflict doesn't come from, oh, was Cardi right in trying to wreck her shit? I think that, honestly, yes, that wasn't the right setting, but, like, neither here nor there. She said her shit. That's how they were going to act. I don't care. But when we are now taking the situation to a degree where we are questioning the blackness of, you know, an Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Latina woman, which is a conversation that has come into play before, I just wished in that moment that she would have thought a bit more selectively of how she was trying to word what she was trying to say.
Yeah.
Where if all she was really trying to say was, yo, like, it's as a black woman, it's really shitty that she would say that about other black women.
But again, like he said, she's bossy. She's a bully.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she will literally use that.
Yeah.
I mean,
but to not call her black was my only
Yeah.
call her out, because that shit is, I didn't know that about Cardi, and that's terrible.
and that's what I'm saying. Like she's
And
using
I
this.
think-
Go ahead.
No, continue, and then I'll.
I was just gonna say that I think, again, you have to admire her, and also like, you have to admire Nicki, because it's like, wow, look at, you made a power move. You decided to say, you know what, I'm gonna maximize all of this shit and benefit from it. However, are you benefiting it, or are you engaging with this for selfish reasons?
Yeah.
Which is like, that's the thing that really eats at me.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, Nicki gets seen as a sore loser and Cardi gets seen as a hood rat, and neither of those things are positive for the ladies. And I think Kelly Rowland said it the best in an interview, and this is all I'll say on it so we can move on, is at a time where Serena Williams is like out here like
trampling
with shit and like fighting for women.
Right.
Women need to be united.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Especially women of color.
Absolutely agreed.
There's no time for this shit.
And that's why I say
Get
media,
your shit together.
the team,
Yeah.
they're the ones that are perpetuating this narrative.
I also wonder how much of it is manipulated. Like, do they really not like each other, or how much of it is it your team saying this and
then,
your team saying that?
Because Nicki also makes a mention to that on Queen Radio. She said that how the reason why Cardi came at her was because of those comments, but she never actually did that. So she's like, someone told her on her team that I was doing this and that and third. I don't know how true that is, because I don't like to engage in that fucking petty shit. If you have a problem, I'm gonna tell it to you right to your face. I'm gonna come to you as a person, and we're gonna discuss it. And then if there's an issue, then maybe hands will be thrown. Okay, but that's
But then Cardi said that she had confronted her 2 other times, and she like copped the plea. That Nicki copped the plea, and then
really.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's just messy. And
It's
like,
just
why,
messy.
Hearsay.
why do we
It's
have to be messy
all
like
hearsay.
this?
I wish that I
sells.
could just be my like pretty gay self, like listening to Invasion of Privacy and Queen at the same time, because that's what I do on my Spotify. I do Get Up 10, and then I do Majesty. Majesty.
Right.
Like,
we don't have to pick I feel like that whole shit we don't need to pick, because quite frankly, like, media is gonna spin it as to who they want to win, regardless of who we quote unquote pick. We just gotta go on about our business of listening, and they need to figure their shit out.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure that they
Humility
don't have
is
fucking Botham
key.
Jean out here getting his shit lost because
I'm dead.
he had weed in his apartment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not to like minimalize it, but like, but
it's
I
true,
do.
yeah.
But I do think like that's very problematic, and there's so many issues with hip hop, with colorism, with all these sort of things.
Hip-hop,
It's a big thing we have to tackle, and if both of them are in a place where they're too petty to be the champions of that in this day and age, then I don't have time to be.
That's that
engaged
shit I
in
don't
that.
like.
I got
Grow the fuck up.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
we got
seriously.
Colin Kaepernick out here like not in the NFL at all.
Literally.
Like, and it's not their job. I'm not saying
for
they
bending
have
down.
to. I'm gonna be careful with my words. I'm not saying that is their job to do that. I'm just saying, me personally as a consumer right now, if they want to get at each other's throat and call each other all types of bitches and
My thing's, do that too, but also do some shit that's
but
going to
then
sustain
do
the
some
world.
shit. You know,
So
what
that I don't
mean?
get. So I don't really care about
I
that.
low-key have a conspiracy after watching Roxanne on Netflix. Everybody
yeah.
go check that movie out. That they might just both be getting paid more to hate each other.
And I totally believe that. I believe that too.
In which case, I'm not getting none of those checks. So
Right, and they're making bank.
Yeah. So last Tuta Loca, very simple. Oreo released 2 new flavors. One with a hot wings flavor.
Oh, they're Oreos.
And one wasabi flavor.
Bitch, why did I think you were talking about wings?
I feel like you would like the wasabi flavored Oreos.
No, first of all, I hate wasabi.
But you
What?
love mint chocolate chip.
That's nasty.
First of all,
Right?
That shit is
Sid?
disgusting. If you like mint chocolate chip, you gotta go.
That's
my
nasty.
favorite.
That's nasty.
That is my
Julie
favorite.
said you gotta go.
So then I
I
feel like you would like wasabi.
wasabi. First of all,
Oreos.
I don't handle spice well or anything hot. So that's like I don't
What?
handle it well. I don't know why. And I have acid reflux. I have like an old lady body.
Me
But wasabi and I don't fuck with wasabi. I never have.
Okay.
I've tried wasabi shit. It's just not my thing. I like hot wings, but not in my Oreo.
Not with chocolate.
Yeah, it's just disgusting.
I it's just weird. I just want to point it out.
They were just
what is this new generation?
Somebody smoked the wrong blunt.
Yeah, right. Somebody passed it to the right.
Yeah, somebody made a bad judgment call there, and I just wanted to point it out so that people know that it exists.
Don't eat that shit.
All right, so now let's move into our topic. So, yes. You're dating a strong black woman. So oftentimes I find, and I went like on a date this week, and I've been on like a couple dates lately, and I keep finding that, yes, dudes are whack, but they're not just whack because they're whack. They're whack because they don't match me, and the things that they don't match with me on have everything to do with me being either black or too strong, and thus the whole strong black woman complex. Ugh. And it's real frustrating.
Yeah.
Sid, what is dating like for you? Because you're it goes without saying you're a strong black woman. What is dating like for you, and how does your strong-willed, sort of demeanor get in the way of things?
Well, I mean, y'all know me for a long time, so y'all already know. Yeah, dude, I just can't engage with men who feel intimidated by me as a person. Like, I'm a strong person. My mother is strong, and I'm very fortunate that I kind of grew up in a matriarchy. Shout out to my dad. I love you, Daddy. But when I got in trouble, I wanted to do something. I'm not talking to my dad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to run from my mom. So it's like
same.
Like I said, engaging with all of this kind of with these guys who are kind of conditioned to, and I was saying this to you a little bit earlier.
Yes.
I feel like it's hard to date guys because they've been conditioned to not be vulnerable and being openly loving somebody, openly appreciating a woman who is strong and who can handle herself or stand firmly and be grounded on her own 2 feet. People want a fucking damsel in distress. It's like, I'm not in distress, babe.
Yeah, and we were talking about how this is mostly seen in men of color. Because my friends, we have a running joke right now that I just keep pulling these tall, skinny white boys, and I'm like, I don't fucking know why, but I've been thinking about it very deeply for some time now, and I just realized with I've dated black guys, dated white guys, dated Arab guys, I'm equal opportunity pussy right here, so I don't care as long as you're a beautiful person inside and maybe out, and mostly out. Well, no, not mostly out.
No.
I mean,
attractive to my standards.
Yeah.
To what I
yeah. My standards fluctuate in terms of.
I fucked up. I'm saying mostly out. Not mostly out. I'm not that shallow.
We kind of shallow, but sometimes we're not shallow. But it's ooh. I was like, ooh. I was saying that mostly with men of color because of the way that they have to deal already with masculinity, being black and having to be that strong masculine, manly man. Yeah. So and I don't know if you've ever experienced this with some of your black guy friends, where they'll have a girl and they'll be in love with this girl, and their friends around them yo, what's good with you? She got you pussy whipped, bro, or
yeah.
And it's no, he just really loves me, and why is that a fucking problem?
Yeah.
I feel because of again the just societal standards for black men, white men don't have to deal with that shit because they just white and they just live in the world.
Because they just
whiting everywhere.
Free.
They just whiting and free.
Free.
Right, and it's crazy. And it's so fucking crazy.
They really do move through the world
in a very different way.
Yeah. So when they see me, they're like, oh my, who is this fucking goddess? I kid you not. And it's kind of annoying sometimes. The amount of times I've heard the word goddess from these motherfuckers.
Yeah. Because it's not coming from a place of just oh yeah, it's appreciate, but it's almost fetishizing.
Fetishizing you,
fetishization. Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
I can never say that shit fast. I do this all the time.
But yeah, I totally hear that, and then it sort of leaves you in that limbo of because for me, first of all, let me just be very clear here. I've never been with a white guy, not on purpose. White guys have never flocked to me for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think I check off different problematic boxes. One, I'm too strong-willed, hard, maybe even hard-headed, you can say at times.
Stubborn, yeah.
Yeah, stubborn as fuck, whatever. Too spicy for them,
Picante,
Or and I'm black. You know, I am a black woman. So
Right.
some of them, if they're into white girls, if they like blonde, or if my hair, especially now, like I've come. It's been so hard.
Your hair's popping, baby.
Thank you. My transition has been so
Looks
hard.
good.
Thank you. It's been hard because my transition, like my hair right now is like at my ear, but if I were to blow dry it, my hair is still long.
We both natural right now. I'm into
Right,
it.
yes, right.
Yeah.
So like, but that transition has been so hard because not only that has like put me further away from the reach of even white guys, even if I wanted to, and for some black men too. Like some black guys who are like, she's natural, but I guess I haven't quite figured out what the fuck I want to do with my hair, like how I want to rock the natural look.
Right.
And so like that limbo is like sort of like a pushback. But a white girl with dead straight hair never has that moment of like, oh, my hair is going through this thing. And so
I hate when they
look
really try
different
to
and blah, blah,
engage
blah.
with that. Like,
and
stop.
it's not true, bitch, because it's not true.
Bitch, your hair, first off, your
It's not
fucking
true.
follicles are ribbons, bitch.
Right.
That's why your shit don't curl.
Right.
Let's go back to the follicle of it, all right? Fucking tired of this shit.
Exactly. No, but that and I'm sort of sidetracking there, but like that's another box that I check off. Like my blackness is definitely a box. And then I am an overweight woman. This is not.
Are
me.
you overweight? I don't feel like you're overweight.
Technically
Okay.
obese.
All right.
No, I'm just saying by the charts.
Right,
I'm not saying
right.
I look at myself as some like obese woman, but like that I am clinically obese. And so no, I could barely rock the crop top that I'm rocking
It's a
right
look,
now.
baby.
Thank you. You know, but like that whole thing, it's like, oh, she's hard-headed, black, and she's kind of fat. I rather go with the goddess. And so like I face that thing in dating a lot where like I'm losing a lot of men to the SIDS, not in a bad way, but like I'm losing the men to the SIDS. So it's like,
But bitch,
yeah.
I'm not even keeping these motherfuckers
Right.
because these motherfuckers realize, oh, she's actually
also strong,
Right.
black, and all these things.
and she's actually like the Jalissa.
Right.
So
Exactly.
fuck, like what? I thought this was gonna be. No, baby, it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
And
yeah.
so again, like just dealing with that, it's not.
It's quite interesting, but I've never been in an interracial relationship before. But the gentleman who I've only had one real boyfriend, and so that dude, he's Boricua and also like a quarter Russian. Such white pride. Like would hold on to
It's
that
crazy.
Russian, such
Really?
white
Like,
pride.
baby, you're Boricua.
Yeah, and
It's
Boricua
okay.
pride, but not
Wow.
Afro-Latino Boricua pride. Though his father was like a little lighter than me, and like his grandmother
he's
was like my
brown.
complexion. He was very light skinned. You know what I mean? But he comes from an Afro Latino background. Technically,
Like
once you look at
household
abuela's black. Like you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and it's just interesting to have seen even like the language that he would use. Like sometimes he thought it was cute to say things like trepapalo, right? Which is like a
Trepapalo.
Yeah, which is like a tree climber, like a monkey, like monkey tree climber. It's a Puerto Rican slang thing, apparently,
Trepapalo.
right?
Okay,
Yeah,
that
you
makes
know,
sense, yeah.
like and things like that, and it was just so hard. And so I felt like I dated a white guy,
Yeah.
even though like
See, but that's real.
culturally, I could go in and like we were eating dinner and it would be pernil and guandules and all that shit
Ooh,
still,
pernil sounds
but
good.
like his
Yeah.
energy didn't always feel right when it came to race and stuff like that. Sid, what has your experience been with interracial dating?
Well, like I said, y'all know me for a long time.
Yeah.
Around that first, like, I've actually some of the first guys I've ever dated were like Dominican. So that was
God bless
already
your heart.
a bitch.
I can't deal with that shit.
Ay, coño, if I could just say it now.
Right.
It was a lot, but I've always kind of been interracially dating, if anything.
Right.
I think I dated my first like black guy when I was he's like a New York native, like generations in Harlem type shit. I was dating him for about 2 years. And the experience is, like I said, is very different because like now that I've had that experience with him and like watching how getting him to be vulnerable was in comparison to dating the white guys. It's like, wow, like you have such a chip on your shoulder to be open and love me, and you want to love me so bad, but like you just can't. And these white guys are like, oh my God, I love you, and I think again, like having that intimidation and having that sense of like power, or even just like, I think they assume that like I don't give a fuck about anything because I'm so like I'm a quote unquote free spirit. I'm not a free spirit. I'm just not a punk bitch. So I'm not gonna let you run over me. I'm not gonna if I feel like you're fucking me over, I'm gonna say something about it. And then if I don't want to deal with it, it's my prerogative and my very fucking right to not deal with that shit.
Right.
And if that makes you uncomfortable, then I don't know what else to do, because the world that we're living in, the world I'm trying to create for the people after me, is not gonna be with this fuck shit.
Yeah.
I'm not here for that. So if you wanna love me, baby, love me. White boys, get it together. Black boys, get it together. Men, please get it together.
Yeah.
Men.
All the way together.
Interracial is just hard.
I've always had like this idea that like, and I guess it kind of goes with what you're saying with the chip on the shoulder of being afraid of vulnerability, where like black men in my head have always been like the tougher like guys.
Yeah,
Latino,
that's what we've been taught.
Latino men have always been the sexy ones
yes,
that love to eat pussy.
Lusty, they're lusty.
They're the lusty ones. They're the sexy ones. And then white men have been like white picket fans.
Yeah, they're
like marrying up.
Stability.
They're the marry up.
Yeah,
they're the come
marrying
up.
ones.
Don't marry these motherfuckers. Let me stop.
Yeah. You know, and it's interesting because I think, yes, our men need to absolutely do better. And I feel like at the age of 27 is when I am finally giving myself permission to not feel like I need to compensate for the things that I feel like I lack. In talking about those 3 check boxes, more so, especially like with body image, that because I am not that goddess black girl, that means that I should hush up a little bit about certain things that I'm righteous about or are deal breakers for me for the sake of like being able to keep the guy. So I think that there's 2 parts. One part is, yes, absolutely, the men in our community absolutely have to do better for so many reasons. But then
just men in general.
I wish that, men in general, right? But I also want there to be more support so that women like me at an earlier age can learn that empowerment. So what I'm saying, it's not necessarily from self. Like, yes, obviously, like if you can find that empowerment within yourself to like see who you are, love yourself, and like create standards so that nobody could ever disrespect you.
Right.
That is super important. But I also know why that is hard. And I also know why, like, you know, especially like for myself, like I've always been strong-willed, black, and big, right?
Yeah.
So that's just, those are 3 things that maybe won't change. And like, yes, one of them is really, really in my control, but like, God, who knows? Like maybe I don't want to spend the rest of my life trying to get to a skinny size for what? When Sid just confirmed for me, you know what I mean? That even when you have that, like, you know what I mean? There's still problems.
Absolutely.
So how can we teach ourselves to love ourselves in a way where we we can even vet those motherfuckers before they even enter like our whole space?
When I tell you, it's so funny because you said your whole space, and I thought you said my whole space.
That's what
and I was like, bitch, you damn right.
Space.
You can
my whole space.
And my whole
Stay
space.
out of my whole space.
I will also say,
because I'll invite you to the whole space,
right? Because you might either be for a long-term shit,
right.
You know, you might be cuffable, or you might just be fuckable, and that's fine.
Right.
And both are fine, but there should be a standard that I have that it doesn't matter if you the fuck or the cuff, you can't fuck with that shit.
Right.
So
Exactly.
like when a dude says to me, "Oh, you know, your podcast is awesome, but your co-host name is Skittles and your logo is feminine, so it makes me feel uncomfortable to own to the fact that I enjoy listening to this." I'm not fucking uncuffing.
Oh yeah.
If you can't get with my brother Skittles, we've said this in other episodes. Skittles is a
it's
line.
a name, bro. It's a candy.
5 wise women once said, if you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friend.
My friend.
Make it last forever.
Cause
Friendship
never
ends. All right? Spice Girls.
Thank you. Quoted.
Come on.
90s. What's up?
So, like, you know, and another aspect of this is how our families play a role, right? Because I can bring home, you know, the dude who is like super
Bless
work or
my family.
whatever, right? You know, and like my family, luckily, like you can be anywhere on the color spectrum and they'll take
same,
you.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can say that for my immediate family, but when we go to DR and there's extended family, again, same boyfriend, I took him over there and everybody was praising me because he had straight hair and they loved how white he looked.
Wow.
You know, and it's interesting because like I've never dated somebody light skinned since him. I don't know if it's trauma or just, you know, a taste thing, but I know if I were to bring some of the dudes who I have fucked with in the past couple of years to DR, those same people who are praising me would be mad quiet and be mad. Because I see it when they do it to my sister's husband. You know what I mean? My sister's husband,
You
he's
said
from
husband.
Yeah.
He's from Guyana?
Yeah, he's from Guyana.
Hey!
He's going to appreciate the shit.
I'm a
out of
Trini,
that.
but you know, big ting boy, big ting.
But you know, I see it, and like he's so graceful. You know what I mean? That he handles all of those situations with such grace.
Yeah.
But like I see that shit, and it drives me up the wall. And so I'm at the point where like I wouldn't care. But like imagine that, having to not only get over your own shit, but then to have to deal with your family shit.
Bullshit.
How is your family with your like mix of people?
They're pretty good, to be honest. My parents don't care. They just want to make sure that I'm with somebody
Who loves you?
that loves me, and it's great because I brought home some fuck niggas. Yeah, excuse my language, but like, damn.
Yeah. But what about their families, the guys' families?
So, that's a.
Oh, see how I flipped it?
See, I got a little red over here. Undertones popping out. All right. They really all love me.
Great.
Honestly, like.
And they're all woke?
No.
Okay.
You know, there was one situation, and maybe they don't all love me. I don't know. I just feel like the energy I got from everybody was always very pleasant.
Yeah.
Because I'm a nice person, dude. Like, I'm genuine. I have a good heart. But you know, there came a point when shit wasn't okay, and that's just because I think their party was hurting.
Right.
So obviously they're like, oh, fuck you, bitch. But actually it was one of the moments, it's crazy. So the night, or maybe 2 days after I started planning Millions March,
Yeah.
it was Thanksgiving, and I was like at an ex's house or whatever. And later that night, you know, after a series of circumstances, I think we were talking about Mike Brown, whether or not he was a thug or not. And I took complete offense to that. And we had been drinking for a while because it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I took complete offense to that because I was like, how can you guys say that right now? Like, y'all know what I'm doing also, but like, yo, we're black. We should not be putting this child. Number one, he's a child. Why are we belittling him? And so I was being very like adamant about it. You know, when you get drunk, you loud, you know, right? I was really passionate, but people were saying that I was screaming. I don't think I was screaming.
Black woman trope.
Right, and I ended up getting literally dragged out of the house.
What?
Yes, I kid you not. So so this is
By
my.
who? Who put their hands on? You see?
It was a crazy experience. I kid you not. But I ended up getting dragged out of the house, and I got
By a female or a male?
two people.
Both. Oh.
Both. And it just made me sad. I was like, wow, as black people, it really, really disheartened me. And as a woman, and I think it made me even more upset because there was a young lady in the house who dragged me out along with someone else. And I was like, I would never, as a woman,
Right.
I would never put my hands on you unless you attacked me first. But I would never put my hands on you. And even then, you know, to be honest, I've never even had to fight anybody. I've never had to put my hands on anybody because my parents, and it's so crazy, that's why I always tell people, they're like, be thankful for the way people are brought up.
Yep.
My parents, and my father especially, I do not know why. You know, your friends, your parents tell you, if somebody hits you, you hit them back.
Yeah.
That was not how I was brought up. My father literally told me, if someone touched me, do not put your hands on them. So I have a non-confrontational attitude for like, I think a good majority of my life. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not a punk bitch.
Yeah.
But I've always had to, because I didn't feel comfortable putting my hands on people, I had to make up for that in tone, and tone the way I speak, and also my presence. Like, if you want to put your hands on me, then you have to fucking do it. Because I'm literally not going to engage in that bullshit with you.
Yeah.
And then I think now I'm at the age in my life, like, if somebody were to do that, maybe I might black out because of all the other shit I've been through. Like,
Right.
traumas kicking in and triggers and whatever, but even that's not my first thought.
Yeah, so I totally identify with that, like, not being, like, tough enough. Like, I got bullied a lot, and people have always expected me to sort of stand down.
Right.
But, like, yeah, I've also had to make up for it in my tone of voice, and I think that's when I discovered spoken word when I was in middle school and getting bullied a lot. Like, that became, like, the way that Julissa was going to snap back, because I wasn't always great in the moment with coming up with the right insult, and I didn't have the confidence. But if you let me sit with my pad and my pen at home and come back and perform for that thing, I'm about to let you have it. You know what I mean?
Meet me in the lunchroom tomorrow, 3 p.m. What's good?
Right? So, like, that I totally identify that, and even in the workplace, and like not that we're talking about that, but like relationships in general, like as a Black woman, I'm always cautious about how aggressive I get, because I know I have to multiply times 10. It's like how they say, oh, the camera adds 10 pounds. My Blackness adds about like, you know what I mean?
Bitch.
Another like 50% of aggression towards anything that I do. Real. Anything. I could just, even when I'm a customer somewhere and I'm like, you know, and I get a little tight, but I'm not even yelling or like blaming the person.
Right.
Oh my God, if they're white, the way they respond to that shit is so like,
I love that
relax.
shit.
Like relax is always my answer. So, you know, and also our like circles have a lot to do with how our dating, you know, sort of affects things. If I know I have friends who would like judge me if I dated a white man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like not like hardcore to the point where they wouldn't accept them or anything like that, but just that like little side eye, the same side eye that I give to some Black dudes when they obsess over white women.
Yeah, see that's when I get tight.
Right. Right. When it's a juxtaposition as opposed to like, oh no, it's this and that. When it's this or,
right,
that is when I have an issue with it.
You can have it all, baby.
Yeah.
I just like don't be obsessive over this one particular brand of bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many other brands that are actually amazing. Try it sometime.
Exactly. And I actually had a conversation with a dude today who I think he's really woke and educated and all that stuff. But I wasn't sure if I agreed with this, where he said, I feel like it's my preference and obligation to marry a Black woman. Not date and mess around with, like he will date and mess around with anyone. But when it comes to marriage and who he wants to build his family with, he says that he will only marry a Black woman. And Afro-Latina included, because I was like, does that count Afro-Latinas?
Right.
Or he was like, no, yes, also Afro-Latina. He's like, Black women, like a
Period,
Black
yeah.
woman, any island location.
And I appreciate that,
you know, and he said because the Black family has been since
decimated.
slavery, just like
literally been
constantly. And he's like, and I feel an obligation / also a desire to build a Black family and like sort of build upon the shit that they keep trying to destroy. And I think that was like, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. But then part of me is like, does that make me like not... Like, is that like Hotep-ish?
Yeah, I feel you. No, I absolutely
because you want to stay away from Hoteps.
I wonder that, but I also actually genuinely
appreciate that sentiment
and understand that perspective.
Because
like,
I mean, as far back as we've learned as well, women used to literally be raped in front of their husbands.
Yep.
Women would give birth, and they would literally rip the child out of their hands. Mm-hmm. So I understand the need and the necessity to have that image and to have that and have that desire to have the completion of a Black family and kind of reinstate what that looks like. And I see it, and with my parents even, like, it's cool. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful thing to see, like. But again, it makes me think, damn, like, because I'm not really thinking that, and the fact that I just want to have somebody that loves me and I don't care how in what shape that comes in. Does that make me fucked up?
Yeah, and it doesn't. And the answer is it doesn't. Like, he's not wrong, but we're also not wrong for not thinking that is the way to go. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting how our community responds. But rightfully so. Like, I get it. Like, when a Black person is dating a white person and there's that immediate side eye, I understand where the side eye comes from. Right. Is it always warranted? No. But if the side eye comes with I'm going to examine this and see if it's problematic or not. If it's not problematic, then you have to fucking back off.
And press on.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, people are people and they're going to love who they love.
Point blank.
And it's interesting to me also when I'm talking to guys and they think that I'm weak, like, just because I'm a woman, even if I'm displaying certain things, it's almost like, oh, that's cute, you're mad, or oh, that's cute, you think such and such thing.
I'm like, oh, that's cute?
I'm about to fucking chew your head off if you don't fucking watch it, you know what I mean?
It's favorite.
This whole, and how, like, my femininity suddenly becomes, like, whatever the stereotypes are, I don't know any better. I am emotional. I am overly this. I am, like, you know, indecisive. I don't know what I want to eat every time I get asked. Like, it has to be the fact. And though some of those things are true, like, the way men try to wrap up my identity
in that.
And those things is so annoying. I have another friend I was talking to today who's breaking up with her boyfriend because he's older, so he's 36, and he wants to have kids in 2 years. And she's like, I don't want to have kids in 2 years. Baby, I'm not saying I don't want to have kids.
Shout out to the friend, because I understand your plight.
Right? Like, you know, like, and she wants to have kids eventually, but she's like, damn, we haven't even been dating a year yet.
Yeah.
And he's putting pressure, and so that's a deal breaker for him. The fact that she doesn't want to have it in 2 years.
Bye.
And I'm like, girl,
bye.
He could go kick rocks. That's why I tell him to go to the fucking Midwest and find somebody who's sitting bored.
Right.
Wait to
go sit on the farm, baby.
You know, like this idea of like, you know, what the man wants and like how that we have to fall in line with that is really problematic. The reason I bring that up is because I think about the church.
Oh, God.
I think about the Black church as an institution that is teaching women what their dynamics should be with their men, whether they're Black men, this is now beyond racial, like, but as a strong Black woman, you go to church to be untaught the things that make you the strong, you know, independent, vocal person who you are.
Actually, that's really funny that you say that, because my parents, like, they're Christians, Seventh-day Adventists. You know, so
mine too. Oh! Get out of here! I didn't answer that. I just feel like no one's Seventh-day Adventist.
Hey,
so like, when I find one, I'm like, bro.
Bitch, okay, well, so you already know Sabbath on Saturday.
No, Sabbath. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be wearing these earrings.
Girl, okay, she know the tea. All right, so there's Seventh-day Adventists, and I've been very fortunate, for me, in my opinion, and how I view it. My parents never really forced me to go to church like that. They were like, do your thing. Oh, and especially when I started getting into like dancing, and they were like, oh, you don't got time for that. You got to do this.
Yep, same.
So it really, really crafted that independent like nature in myself, because I didn't. I'm not saying my mom is very independent. She does her own thing. She be going on her own flights by herself, on trips. My dad be home with my sister. He's like, you want to go have dinner? Yeah, Dad, let's do it. I'm hungry. But yeah, it's just like because I haven't had that like constant induction into church. It's like I'm not held or bound by set parameters.
Yeah.
I work outside of that.
Yeah.
I know for me, I personally think I believe in God, but I think like it's everything else is pretty flexible. Like,
right.
And because of that, it's really just, again, it's left me in an expanded state of mind. And I feel like I don't have to necessarily adhere to certain things. I did, however, post a video of me drying my hair the other day. My boobs were out. And my mom did message me and was like, is nothing sacred? I was like, girl, Mommy, I didn't say anything. I'm sorry. But like, I was just like, yo, they're boobs.
Yeah. And it's legal to.
If,
you know, and that doesn't give permission for anyone to do anything anyway.
And also, I was just really concerned with how big my hair was getting. So I forgot I did not have a shirt on. I mean, a bra on, because it was a mesh shirt.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the video, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it.
Fuck it. Yeah, fuck it, honestly. But the church, you know, and so Sid and I we're both fortunate. Our families did not force us into that shit, but let me tell you something. They literally like teach shit that's basically like follow your husband. Like your husband is the master, and you be a slave to that motherfucker.
Literally.
Brittany was onto something when she said that she was a slave for him. I wonder if she
she might have been,
or just any church. God. I mean, think about it. Outside of Christianity, like it's almost like religions for some reason always have this written rule that involves women succumbing to men.
Y'all saw *Handmaid's Tale*, right?
I haven't yet, but I know I have to. I'm late.
I was super late, and I started watching it a few months ago, maybe like 2 months ago. And I binged through the two seasons. You will gag in the first 10 minutes.
I'm sure.
Literally
everyone literally looks at me and goes, Julissa, you haven't watched this shit?
Right, same.
So I gotta
you
watch
have to watch it.
But it really, like, you know, there are verses in the Bible, and like, you know, your husband is like, you know, like if your husband wants to do something, or if you have to dress a certain way and respect your man, I think that shit was written in by man. I don't think that was biblical.
That
shit was,
and that's why I don't adhere to the physical Bible.
I mean, the Bible was written by 12 guys that followed
they're
a
different
man
sections,
around.
right? What were y'all really doing?
Skittles.
I wish y'all could see his face.
I'm going to hell for that one, but still,
no, not even going to hell. I just that'll be on another episode.
Okay, we gonna talk about it later.
But it's just interesting to me though that you have Black churches stand on the shoulder of strong Black women.
Everything stands on the shoulders of Black women.
And so it's interesting to me that the institution that's oppressing them is the one that they are most faithful to. Mm-hmm. And I get curious about bullshit. That. And that's not to say that every woman that walks in there is following all of those rules, right. But to imagine having to sit through that lesson over and over again and still sitting in that sort of space and saying, I believe that this is a safe space for me.
That's why, what? Again, Seventh-day Adventists, I really look at my parents and the women in my family. I'm just like, wow, like, y'all are Seventh-day Adventists, but y'all maneuver in a very specific way.
Yeah, like where? Y'all Seventh-day Adventists,
but where though? Where?
I think things with religion, at least with my family, my family's Catholic or whatever. But I think it's all up to interpretation because... Mm-hmm. Being Catholic, I didn't find out about the whole gays going to hell until fucking high school when I was in gospel choir. Yeah. So
really,
it's all in that. It's
That's
all
crazy.
In that interpretation because my mother was letting me walk around with t-shirts on my head and like fucking makeup on my face.
That's mommy. Let's go.
Talking about if you can't accept my son, you can't accept me.
Right.
Like,
strong women in the institution.
So like yeah. So like even though she's been a devout Catholic woman. There's a lot of flexibility in her interpretation.
Because also, I mean, we're getting to the religious talk. If God made me, and He said that He would literally accept me as I am because I am a figment of You, then why should I be condemned for being what I am? I'm confused, And that's why I just religion again. It can be very toxic in the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's in the hands of too many fucked up people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agreed. Absolutely. And then I think that a lot of that shit that was written in comes from even outside of religion, just the general fear or discomfort that men have when they're around women who are either making more money than them.
Oh gosh, that is the
more
worst.
Successful than them, and then couple that with being Black, girl, you got yourself a recipe for disaster. Right. If you don't have somebody who's grounded in who they are and what they believe. And that's not to say that doesn't happen across genders and different relationships too. I just want to be clear because we've been sort of doing like the male-female dynamic, but it is just so that's the perspective that I can speak on, and like it is so strong there. And I would argue that there are some couples that are more gender queer, where I don't see those things because these are people coming from the back, like fighting that oppression and saying like, I even have to fight to have my relationship in a way that's acceptable, let alone me trying to push some gender norm shit where like I'm the masculine one, so you have to follow me. Like, that shit is like fuck. That's why gender fluidity for me is such a like wonderful thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Like it's so wonderful. Like
agreed.
Fuck that shit, and it doesn't matter what role I have and if I have the pussy or the dick or whatever.
You may have them both, but you're gonna do that.
Yeah. And what you gonna do, right? You're just gonna have to sit with that. But really dating, it's hard. We are getting to that age where, at least in my community, it's like, are you gonna get married? Are you gonna be alone forever?
Yeah, it's a common
blah, blah, blah,
conversation at the moment.
And that pressure and me knowing the things about me that make it difficult to match with someone is really discouraging.
You know what it is too? And I've been saying this to my friends. I'm always like, yo, blood packs and blood bonding is very serious. I'm not gonna make a full ass baby with somebody that's just fucked. Like, why would I do that? Because look at the things that have happened in the world because two people actually didn't want to have a baby together.
Yep.
Or because one person wanted to have the baby, the other didn't. Like, it has to come from a place of strength. It has to come from a place of understanding that, like, we are all people, but at the same time, your role as feminine or masculine is irrelevant to what we're doing here. Like, are you a good person? Ultimately, that's just what I'm trying to get at. Are you a good person?
Are you a good person? And that really is the bottom line. And I think that society, I'm so excited for my nieces when they get older because I'm hoping that the fact that this dialogue is like, sort of like evergreen and keeps coming up, will mean that by the time they're my age, if they are single and whatever the case is, that they won't be feeling the pressure I feel right now to be married, or to at least have a man who I think I'm about to marry. Like, I'm like, oh shit, my time's running out. I'm never gonna get married.
And that's how I literally feel all the time. Like, I think that's why for such a long time, like when y'all met me, I was like 13.
14,
so I started,
yeah.
I was in my first relationship before that. I was dating with somebody
early
in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I literally started, I've been thinking about it now because I'm not dating anybody. And I'm just like, I feel so crazy because I'm so used to being in this like committed relationships because of what I'm used to fucking seeing everywhere on TV and media and the newspapers. Even my parents, and again, like my parents are fucking amazing, but they've been together since my mom's been 19.
Yo, my parents since my mom was like 16, bro.
So there's this real kind of pressure. There is this real pressure of like, who are we gonna find?
Y'all are weird. I come from a broken ass family.
My parents are about to make 39 years married. Just
married, yeah.
Not even dating.
I think my parents got married when I was 8.
And like.
I think so,
but
they were together.
They've been together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's another thing. Like, I keep saying marriage, but like, fuck the institution of marriage.
I'm even right.
I just want that big like thing for the whole community and everybody I know to be like, this is the
this
one.
Is it.
It's
yes,
my nigga. It's my nigga.
That's my babe.
Yeah,
That's it.
This is him.
That's
You know, I just
it.
want to have that ceremony to celebrate that thing. It's not so much about like
my dad swears I'm gonna get eloped.
Yeah.
He's like, you're gonna go off somewhere and go to Vegas and
get eloped.
Yeah. I'm like,
and fuck it.
If I do that, don't worry. We'll have another wedding.
Yeah, right. Just throw me the party.
Right.
Everybody like the after party anyway. Right?
Receptions.
That's what everybody likes anyway. Yeah. Well, thank you, Sid, for your perspective on that. I hope that for both of us, we find ourselves a strong person who doesn't feel intimidated by our
strengths
because
and
that's
our
what
prowess.
they are. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, that's our ancestors. Harriet Tubman wouldn't have made it and freed all them slaves.
Okay.
If she was hushed up and quiet.
In the, I have to say it, but in the words of Nicki Minaj, to freedom.
There you go. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna move into our Dame Luz section, where our guest is gonna give us a little insight on something. So I've been thinking about this a lot because I have had dudes jokingly who I used to mess with comment on like getting with my friends.
Yeah.
Which is a joke until it's not a joke.
Until you're actually, y'all fucking.
Yeah. And I have admittedly broken code or like I have how am I gonna word this?
I love the looks right now.
I have come between two
I have had sexual
friends.
relations.
No,
I did not have sexual relations
in my life, I've made very poor decisions, and I will own up to it. Very poor, not decisions, bad judgment calls. I've made very, very bad judgment calls around who I can and cannot mess with, who are friends. Okay. Right? But when the tables are flipped with me, I'm like, duh, you can't fuck my friend. Right? Because I did it once, and now I know that it's wrong. Like, now I'm aware, and so I don't think I'm going to find myself in a situation again.
Yeah.
But like, it's almost like a tit for tat. So, like, do I owe those guys one of my girlfriends?
No,
like, is there some trade that I have to, like, do I owe them? And if so, like, how does that fuck with girl code? Because I'm not trying to, like, I don't want to know that my girlfriend slobbed the same knob. Like, that's not.
You know what's so funny?
Unless I didn't have feelings for him and he wasn't complete shit, maybe then I wouldn't care. But I guess I just really don't know the code. So, Sid, what's the code, if there is one?
There really is no code. We're all just making up as we go along. Right. But I know that, like, it's always chicks before dicks. Like, yeah, always. Like, you have your bros before hoes. Like, if my homegirl wanted to hit on somebody and I had already had sex with them at one point and I'm not anymore, like, do your thing. I've actually met some of my really close friends because we smushed the same dude. Wow. Okay. We actually didn't find out until, like, it came out in conversation, and then we were just like, oh, both of us did? We're like, bitch, high five. Yeah, right. But that's just kind of like.
But what about when you're already friends? Let's say my ex-boyfriend of 2 years or some shit. This is a random example, right? So, like, if I had a boyfriend for 2 years, we broke up. Let's give it, like, 3 years have passed. Let's give it real time, because I hope it goes without saying that if I just freshly broke up with my boyfriend of 2 years, that none of my friends think that they can hop on that horse, right? But if enough time has passed and they're interested. What are the differences when it's emotional and like real, like, oh, we have feelings for each other versus just sex? And are they both okay, or which one's not okay?
I was in a situation like this once. I was like talking to somebody, and I was really, really into them, and I had a friend, and I actually happened to see the moment that they kind of like clicked, if anything. I was like, So I just made it be known that like, and I didn't say it out loud, but I was doing things so that you could see that like, we are like together. I'm like, holding his hands or walking around and shit, like, cool. Nah, that didn't matter. Wow. And they did their thing, but I mean, human nature is human nature, so I understand that too. But I think because I was emotionally invested in this guy, and I actually didn't even realize that I didn't want that to go down until after. I think until it was kind of already happening. And that was my fault. And that's why it's like, again, you have to be honest with yourself, know where you're at. Because if you don't know where you're at, you can't tell somebody else where they have to be.
Right.
But that situation happened, and I felt like so hurt by it because this girl, I knew her for a few years before this guy. So I was just like, fuck, like, how you gonna play me like that?
Right.
But again, like, shit happens. So just make sure you're honest.
I think
it's
honesty.
All in the communication.
Yes, communication is crucial.
All in the communication, because there's like, you can have situations where, your friend has fucked with this person or whatever, and based on your relationship with your friend,
right,
it's okay,
right,
because you and your friend have so communication, and based on the friendship that you have with the person, because I think that if you have a relationship with a friend that they don't give a fuck about shit like that, then I think it's that go ahead. But if you know that this is a person who feels some type of way about it,
right,
or certain amount of details of what they've been through with that person, then there's
absolutely
the line. And I also think it depends on the role that you played in the relationship when the friend was with the other person.
That actually has a lot to do with it. That's a great point, actually.
Because if you're dating someone and I don't know him from Jack because I've been across the world, and then I come in, right, then that's different.
Right, exactly.
Whereas if I've seen your entire relationship play out and then I decide that I want to go for it, that's what it was. Yeah.
Right. That's what it was.
Right. And no, go ahead.
Okay, but I kind of feel like, again, it's that emotional thing, and that also the conversation, the communication. Too many people hold in how they feel, so that's why things get misconstrued. I have friends that we can literally be hitting on the same guy, and we'll be like, oh, who's gonna get him first? We'll see what happens. We'll see what plays out.
And with me, on the opposite end, obviously I'm a gay guy, but I've had gay guy friends that I say, listen, I'm bringing such and such, don't hit on them.
Right, because you have
set
to
the parameters.
You have to say it, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't know what's gonna happen if you don't actually say it up front.
Exactly.
Do not do this.
I'm bringing a hot ass man. The dick is mine. Right. Thank you.
Right. And also, like, if there's not a time to intercept that or have that conversation, it's almost like innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
Hers until she tells you he's not. Like, if I'm walking into a room with a dude and nobody knows him, he's attractive, blah, blah, blah. I'm
going to talk to him.
And you can't quite tell what the vibe is.
Right.
If you don't have the time to ask me, don't jump in right away.
Yeah.
That's real.
Unless it's very obvious that I am not, like you know what I mean? Like, it's, like, very, very obvious. But, like, and that's selfish. I will say that of the things that are stereotypes that are true about me, I am the crazy Dominican jealous person.
It's so funny. I wish I do get jealous, but I think I just hold it so fucking well. I just hold it.
I think I hold it well. I think I do subs. Like I sub, like, you know what I mean? Like I manipulate in other ways where I will look like I never gave a fuck.
Yep.
But inside I was dying, and then I wait to tell Skittles later and I blow up. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
yes.
blah, 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 blah. And that's how I maneuver the situation, which is not necessarily the most mature way, whatever. But
that's why who really is mature anyway.
You know what I mean? But it is interesting. And again, going back to the whole self-conscious thing, I have so many friends that are bad bitches. I have so many friends that are bad bitches. And I feel like I have to fight so hard just to get these scraps of niggas.
Bitch.
And then they come in.
But you ain't the only one
fighting,
bitch.
You know what's funny? Because she says this, but other bitches feel this way about her too.
No.
So
I believe that shit.
There have been plenty of times where I'm listening to Julie and I'm like, oh my God, but you had two at the same time, so shut the fuck up.
I feel you, bitch.
Right. Right. But have not retained any because eventually what happens is
the strong black woman trope.
Yeah, right. Like it lives that way for a little bit, and I forget to feel myself for 2 seconds before the motherfuckers are like lost, and I'm like, okay, did I listen to a white bitch?
Wow.
Did I do this? Like, what did I do? But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think that whatever the code is, there might not be one uniform code, but you're all right. Communication. You have to
that's the
communicate
code.
With,
communicate.
The code is to communicate.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're like really friends like that, it's not gonna be difficult.
Like literally, you can talk.
Yeah.
You can talk.
Like if you're really friends like that, especially something as little as a guy,
I will tell you,
not
my
gonna be
bitch.
that serious.
Yeah.
I'm kind of into him. Try your best to not slop on his knob today.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Because I know how we get, because I can be the same way too.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
We just hold it together for today.
Absolutely. We gonna make it, ladies. We gonna make it.
Okay, communicate.
All right, Sid, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on any corner. I'm just kidding.
On the corner?
Nah, you can't find me there. Actually, you may find me in passing, but you can find me on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, all under SYNEAD. SYNEAD, if you didn't know. You could also find me on the social platforms, i.e. Twitter and Instagram, all under the same name.
Lovely. And you can find us at Ladies Who Bronche on Instagram, Apple, iTunes.
Yes.
I always say Apple, iTunes. iTunes. I feel like a vieja. Apple, iTunes. Hopefully soon on Spotify, Google Play,
yes,
SoundCloud for sure, at Ladies Bronche on Twitter. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time, Bronche.
Bronche.